Welcome to Game Guys, this is your host Bricks, and today we're going to be covering something we've all been waiting for. Newly released information on Update 9 and the 2021 roadmap for Hell Let Loose. So hop in formation and let's jump right into those updates. Before we get started, I'd like to give a special shout out to our friends at Team Asylum Gaming. You can check them out at discord.gg/Team Asylum. Don't forget that if you like this kind of content and you want to stay up to date on the latest, to consider giving us a like and subscribe. Shameless plug aside, let's get into those updates. The latest dev brief was packed with goodies which we're going to unpack in this video. However, there's a ton of content to go over, so we'll put a link in the description to the full dev brief. And to start us off, we're going to cover the upcoming PTE, or Player Test Environment. For those of you who may not be familiar with what the PTE is, this is where actual current players get the opportunity to test out all of the new update features early. This gives players the opportunity to find bugs, and also to test out all of the new implementations and give feedback to the development team. In the past, to gain access to the PTE, players would have to go through Steam, opt into betas, and then re-download the game, and then they'd have to do the same to revert back to the normal game after the PTE expired. Luckily for the upcoming PTE, the Hell Let Loose devs have created a dedicated Steam application so that you don't have to go through that process. The PTE also requires a non-disclosure agreement, which can typically be found on the Hell Let Loose Discord, and is only open for a very brief period of time. So check out the Hell Let Loose Discord, or follow us here, for more to come on when that PTE will be available to you. Now getting into the actual updates, the first thing we're going to talk about is that they're locking the .ini file. In the past, players have been able to tweak this file to give themselves an advantage over other players that were not intended by the devs. Therefore, this file is going to be locked to keep gameplay more fair across the board. Next up is good news for all you tankers out there, as the devs have said that the tank rework is a top priority. This is going to be a huge focus moving into Update 9 and in later patches. This includes new sounds, update to physics, how damage and hitboxes work, and other goodies for all you tankers out there. The devs even went so far as to admit that the current state of the gameplay for tanks can be frustrating, but that they are actively trying to make this as enjoyable and balanced as possible. Another major issue that players are having is the VoIP issue, or the ability to talk in-game with other players. While the issue with in-game voice cutting out has improved drastically over the last couple weeks, the team will be implementing the ability to reconnect to the Vivox system from in-game, which should be an additional fix to this process. The next major item on the update list has to do with grass and foliage. If you spent any time in-game, you have said or you've heard somebody say, "How the crap did he see me?" And this is because currently players can turn down or off their foliage so that you're hiding behind something that isn't rendering for another player. In an effort to make gameplay more fair, realistic, and enjoyable, the devs are making the grass and foliage spawn near instant and not affected by system scaling. What this means is if you're on a high-end machine, or if you're on a potato, all of the grass and foliage textures should be rendering the same for everyone. In my opinion, this is going to be huge for immersion and make the game much more fun to play. With Update 9 is also going to come loadout additions. This is huge for me, and has a special importance to those who have only one loadout option currently. The specific roles named were Commander, Machine Gunner, Sniper, and Tank Commander. However, it was also mentioned that other loadouts will be tweaked and that there will be other changes as well. And we'll be sure to keep you updated on any loadout changes and how they affect any gameplay changes as well. The next item on the update list is going to be huge for meta gameplay and how your team effectively uses tactics to achieve their goals. This has to do with Garrison Spawns and their placement. Currently, as of Update 8, Garrisons can only be placed in friendly territory or blue territory on the map, and these Garrisons cost 50 supplies to place. However, in Update 9, they're going to be implementing the ability to put Garrisons up to 1 grid square into enemy territory or into the red. These Garrisons, though, will require 100 resources instead of the typical 50, and will not be usable if there are enemies within 100 meters of that garrison. This is in an effort to make gameplay more circular, instead of 2 enemies pushing each other from one scrimmage line. Also, they're going to be implementing on the UI a spawn point list. That way it's easier to know how many spawn points you have and how to select them. This has been an ongoing issue where garrisons and OPs may be overlapping on the map, and it's hard to get in there and click those in a timely manner. Next up, we have a weapon zeroing rework. What this means is that all of the weapons are going to be re-zeroed to a certain range in order to make the game more realistic, and will require that players aim up a little bit more at distance to compensate for the bullet drop. Like it, love it, or hate it, this is really going to make more realistic and change the long-range engagements between players in-game. And now for some news for you level 200 guys. The level cap is going to be increased from 200 to 500 in Update 9. This, coupled with the loadout additions and other tweaks, is really going to keep the carrot out there for something to strive for players other than just getting kills and wins. And for any of you current level 200s out there who may be wondering, yes, any points that you earn between now and Update 9 will transfer over, and you'll see a nice jump from 200 to whatever your current level should be. And remember guys, this game is still early access, and there's a ton more information coming down the pipeline, which we'll keep you informed of on our channel. Items such as new maps, new uniforms, even the introduction of the Russians as a playable unit. There's also going to be a change to how fuel works, and the amount it costs for certain tanks and other vehicles, and the implementation of a lot more vehicles over time. So as you can see from this roadmap, there's still a lot in progress that the devs are working on to make the game more enjoyable for you. And that about does it for our quick unpacking of Update 9. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something new, and if you did, consider giving us a like and subscribe. There's still much more to talk about, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on some of these items in the comments below. And as always, until next time, we'll see you in game.